Alright, so in this video I just want to do a quick little read of the patch notes from July 1st. These just came out, or just came out for me. So I figured we go through them. It's a bug fix and a minor improvement update, so let's go through. So it's version 1.5.3, the train signal update. So dear Stormworkers, in this week's update, we have re-engineered train signals so that they are an add-on rather than being baked into the world. The implication of this is train signals can be replaced with an add-on. This is something the train community has been asking for a long time. It means that different styles of signals can be used, as well as mechanically different signals that follow different logic, unlocking the potential for automation and other mechanics. So that's sounding good. I do pretty much nothing with trains. I have very little interest in trains. I actually kind of wish there were no trains just because I don't like all the train bridges going across the water. Um, but I don't need this game tailored completely to me. I understand, different strokes for different folks, and there's a large part of the community who enjoys trains, and I want them to be satisfied with the game as well. So I don't need everything to be about me, so I'm happy that the devs have taken some time to work on the different niches of the community, and this is always something that's great because guess what? You never know when they're going to come by and work on a small part of the game that's very important to you. So there's probably a large community here where this is very important to their gameplay. So I'm very happy that they're working on that. Also, one thing it just kind of made me think of is, I would really like an add-on for the road bridges where you can. I was talking about this in one of my career build series videos, where you could control the bridges but via radio, and that's something that a lot of the boating community has been asking for is the ability to control the road bridges with radio. And so, what it sounds like is that if they're doing something like this for train signals that can be controlled with an add-on, even make them automatic, that have, potentially, that's something that can easily be carried over to the road signals for the bridges. So again, to think of that in a broader context, that could also come to parts of gameplay that are important to me. So I'm very happy about that. Let's go down. Um, this update is a minor step in expanding what can be done with modding. While the headline might be the train signals, the majority of this update is actually bug fixes as we continue to work through all the issues and defects in the game and tighten up the quality of experience. While plenty remains to be done, we have made huge progress so far this year and have rebalanced our time and process to avoid adding new issues while clearing out the backlog of existing problems. So that's good. Again, you have people constantly screaming in the comments, fix the game, fix the game, fix the game. There needs to be a balanced approach where they're keeping people engaged by adding new items, um, keeping that fresh and fixing bugs as they go along. And you never know how long a bug's going to take to fix. I'm certainly no expert in any of this. And they might have a bug that dogs them for, weeks, months, a year, and they finally get that tackled. And so they could be working on it the entire time, and then they might start fixing a bug and realize, oh well, if fixing this bug breaks this, we need to keep working on it and find another solution. So I'm glad they're taking time to both add elements to the game and to work on bug fixes. Well, plenty remains to be done. Okay. Let me see where I'm at. Left off here. Okay. While it can be difficult to measure from playing the game, we are counting the issues and only a fraction remain compared to how the year started out. So again, making good progress on fixing bugs. A lot of the long-standing bugs that have been annoying to my gameplay have been fixed, and so I'm happy about that. They're being receptive to it and they're trying to make the game better. There are many different ways to play Stormworks, and we want to make all players happy. So this minor update focuses on different areas to rotate our focus around the different Stormwork communities. As I was saying, it's important to, you know, it may take a little while to get to the part of the game that you enjoy, but they're going through and they're looking at player feedback. There is an official way to report bugs and to make feature requests, and that is where they do it. So all the people screaming in the comments section on this, which we'll get to in a second, they're probably just ignoring that. I would if you have an official place to do it, that's the place to do it. And so that's most likely where they're doing it. And this is probably something the train community did. I'm happy they're working on parts, even when they don't apply to me. The last two parts, the automated welder and the I forget what it's called, but essentially opens a door for you. I have no use for those parts. But guess what? There's probably thousands of people who do have use for those parts and enjoy them. And I'm glad that they're working on that, because guess what? You never know when it's going to come to a part that I'm really happy about. That's a small, obscure part that makes me and my community happy. So I'm very glad they're doing that. Be sure to check out the comments, as they promise to be extra spicy this week with such a niche update. You'll see some players who would prefer every update be tailored to them. I'm really, a lot of people are already getting spicy in the comments. The comments unfortunately devolve into, a kindergarten playground. I think there's a lot of people in the comments section who have a lot of growing up to do. Um, there's a lot of false sense of entitlement. They'll talk about this. They talk about this in the next paragraph. And I definitely see it as an adult person that, people crying and screaming and expletives and everything else. And it's like, listen, I fly off the chain like everybody else, but it's just abusive. And being abusive is not cool. Being abusive is just, you show more about yourself than about the devs. When somebody has some, tirade in the comments section on a particular update about the devs, it says very little to me about what the devs are doing, and says everything about that person. So it's just not the appropriate forum or the right way to do it. So I'm glad they're, when somebody calls you out on your own bullshit, that means they respect you, you know. And so that is, it's I'm happy that they're calling people out. We'll read the next paragraph, and I'll kind of talk more about it. Our advice is not to take the comments too seriously. We make an active effort to count and measure player requests, and we avoid adding extra weight to individuals who scream the loudest. So, this is a good statement. Is again, they get official requests for features, and they get official bug reporting from right here. All right, and from the in-game reporter. That's where they're reading it. So you get a bunch of people saying, fix this, fix this. Every one of these weekly updates, the comment section says fix multiplayer. I'm sure they care more about the game that employs them and puts food on their table than we do as players. I love this game. 3,000 hours in the game. It's very important to me. I am positive that it is more important to the devs who this is how they put food on their table than it is to me. And so to think that they don't care about their own game is ludicrous. They care about it the most. And so I'm glad they're calling people out on their nonsense. It also says, a lot of people are afraid of, oh, you got all these people yelling, the devs are going to get discouraged. Well, I'm glad they're saying, no, we ignore that. That's what they should be doing. All it is people just, howling abuse. And I'm glad they're ignoring it. And here we go. To the vast majority of players who give calm, constructive, valued feedback, thank you. That is the only way you get anything done in life, is calm, constructive, and valued feedback. That's it. Screaming, screaming and acting like a child. People see a tantrum, and what do? They ignore the tantrum. They go, oh, that person doesn't know how to act. I'm just going to ignore that person. And that's what they're doing, and that's what they should be doing. We do our best to be fair with release plans, and while everybody may not benefit from this week's headline, as we show some love for the trains community, hopefully all will notice benefit from the fixes and will enjoy something more relevant to the community in the next few updates. Again, I'm glad that they're spreading the love around. It would have been very easy to say, okay, there was a poll for weapons DLC. It'd be very easy for them to say, listen, the majority of the community wants weapons. Let's just change the game over to a weapons game. Let's just focus on that. Let's tell everybody else to go pound sand. And this is how we'll make sweet, sweet money, by focusing on that. And they say, oh, well, listen, the 15-year-old, I'm not bragging on 15-year-olds, I'm just using it as an excuse, but, let's say, oh, the 15-year-old love and gun community, meme community, they're where the money's at. Let's go throw all our resources at. No, they're saying, listen, we want this game to be for everybody, and we want this game to support different play styles. And so we're going to show some love to the people who love guns. We're going to show some love to the people who love memes. We're going to show some love to the people who love trains. And that's very refreshing to me that they're doing that. I'm glad they're calling people out in their nonsense. So please see below for patch notes, full list proof. Much love, Stormworks developers. Okay. Um, Here's the bug reporter in game. This is the only place to put something. If you're putting it in the comments section, I don't know what. You're yelling into the void essentially. This comment section on this is to discuss this, not anything else. So you're kind of wasting your time doing that. So that's the right place to do it. Post the in-game tracker if you have feature request or a bug. I assume they have tracking on that. The tracks what bugs are coming up most frequently, and they realize, oh, those are the bugs we need to tackle. Those are the ones that are breaking the game. Those are the ones that are crashing the game. Yelling in the comments section, yelling on Reddit, doing that does nothing. That's the appropriate place to do it. All right, so let's go through. Default train signals have now been converted to an add-on with an updated default signal. The conversion, much like the other default playlists, makes it very easy for players to replace their own and upload to the workshop to share with the community. Additionally, this update we've reworked ropes and winches to fix several long-standing issues, including crashes, freeze, and unexpected rope-based deaths. Glad they're working on this. I had some issues with it in my own career build series. I'm glad they're working on that. So right here, fix rope winch lengths reverting to default length on vehicle load. This was important to me. I was trying to do buoys, and I would pay out the rope. So I'd put out, say, the full 100 meters of rope so that the buoy would float at the top of the water. You'd reload the game, and the buoy would be underwater. And even though I had a microcontroller that would automatically send the rope back out, it wasn't working. So that sounds like that helps to fix it, and I'm glad. Winches now auto-spool back to their max length, and winch max length no longer includes the attached rope's current dynamic length. So these change the behavior a little, and it's probably hard to describe, but this seems like a very positive change. Slightly improved the rope max length to compensate with that. Players can no longer detach ropes that are longer than the first person rope maximum of 40 meters. Don't know how I feel about this, but we'll see how it plays with gameplay. Held ropes no longer detach when a vehicle spawns. I'm not sure how that worked, what that was about, but again, it's another fix. Glad they're doing it. Maybe see if there's any other interesting ones here. I don't play multiplayer, but greatly improved multiplayer fire sync. People are always asking for multiplayer improvements. I'm glad that they're getting some. Better sync for rail signals. Let me see. People are getting a bunch of messages on the workbench, so it looks like they fixed that. Changed the repair speed of handheld welding torches. So I don't know if they sped it up or what, but probably people voiced some issues. Let me see. There's a couple here that I've noticed that are important to me. I haven't noticed any of these lighting issues. Let me see. There was one here. But fixing some meshes, fixing some sonar, things that I don't really work with. Turret ring mesh issue. A lot of people seem to be having issues with that. That fixed that. There was an issue that I just saw that I didn't see. There's one that they said they fixed where if you did an undo in the vehicle editor, it was removing the color from the pivot. So that was an annoying bug. It seemed like they fixed that. So anyways, very happy with this update. It's showing progress in the game. It's not terribly exciting to me just because it's not something that focuses on me, but I am, that people are going to cry because they've been called out on their nonsense. The people who are screaming in the comments section, the people who are, who don't know how to behave. Of course, they don't know how to behave, so they're going to behave poorly when they get called out in their own stuff. The proper behavior, the proper thing is to take in the constructive criticism, to to dissect it, to see if it's applicable, and if it is, make changes based on that new information. But the people who tend to be crying and screaming and complaining are not going to magically change overnight. It's going to take some time. So, but I'm happy with this. They're working on the game. They're making improvements. Not terribly exciting to me, just because it's not a lot that impacts my gameplay. But again, it's a slow forward progress. They're fixing things. They're adding things. The train signal add-on really does interest me. I would really like to be able to radio control the bridges, and I think something like this, where they change out the train signals for an add-on, will hopefully make it so that they change out the bridge signals for an add-on, and then I can go in with an add-on and make them all radio controlled, and then that would really impact my gameplay in a positive way. So I just want to make this quick reaction video to the comments section. So hopefully try to do this every week on the updates. So thanks for watching.